now that we have the better view, what we're going to do is heat up the Tekin RX-8 solder posts here. And we're going to tin them so that we don't have any issues when we go to put the wire in, so that we have a nice good flow on the solder. Make sure everything's getting a good connection so we don't have any loss of amperage or any of that good stuff when we are running our RC vehicles. Now the Tekin RX-8 is a very, very expensive ESC, but it's worth every penny of it because it is the most user-friendly ESC that you'll ever use in your life. Okay, now that I have the soldering post tinned, what we're going to do is positive goes on this side and negative goes on this side. Now the ESC itself is labeled, so make sure you look at the labels. I'm just going to double check just to be sure. But okay, so this one is positive and this one is negative. I checked and made sure. So what we're going to do, I like to put a piece of shrink wrap on my battery wires just to be safe and make sure that nothing happens. Make sure we don't get any shorts. So I have a pair of scissors and a piece of clear shrink wrap. So I'm just going to cut a piece about an inch long, two pieces about an inch long, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide them over my battery wires here. And then a good way to prevent them from falling when you're soldering is to take a piece of electrical tape, which I have here, and I'm just going to tape the end of them so that they don't fall while I'm soldering, and then we can just unwrap that when we're done. So I'm just going to take it and wrap it. You don't want to leave too much on there because you won't be able to get it off. But okay, so next thing I'm going to do here, make sure your soldering iron's still hot, and heat up the soldering post. Make sure that the solder melts in there, and then after it's nice and hot, you're going to want to put your wire in, and make sure your wire gets nice and hot, and then wait about 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and ta-da! And then you have a good connection there. Now you want to do the same thing for the negative. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take your soldering iron, heat up the post. If you want to speed things up a little bit, just take a little bit of solder, touch it to your iron so that you get a nice good flow. Make sure everything's heated up well. And after you're done doing that, you just want to slide it. Oh, that one's not hot enough yet. Just going to take it and slide your wire in. And there you go. Now you want to make sure you have a good flow over it, like I said before. So I'm just going to take and reheat my soldering area, and I'm just going to add a little bit more solder, just to make sure that everything's good. I have a good connection. You don't want to lose a soldering during a race, a solder connection. So I'm just going to make sure everything is in good working order here, and after you're done doing that, then you can undo your tape and hook the shrink wrap up. So now you can shut your soldering iron off and undo your tape. And then next thing you're going to do is slide down your shrink wrap. And I'm going to take my rework station heat gun and turn it on. Turn the heat up to about 200 degrees Celsius, and watch as the heat shrink. Now this takes a lot of amperage from my power supply here, so I'm going to remove the wires so they don't melt. You want to make sure that you get it nice and good, and make sure all that the everything is nice and secure, and make sure it's all heat. And you're gonna let that cool for about, after I let my heat gun cool there. Now I have my shrink wrap on there, and my RX-8's good to go. And that's how you solder up a Tekin RX-8. Thank you for watching. Have a nice night.